What's the good word, y'all? DKB here. So, worst case scenario, of course, has to happen to the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers goes down in just his first series, and the thing that pisses me off the most is you see two very weird plays by our offense, from regardless of what was designed for it. Which you heard the broadcaster saying, operating a short passing attack, the ball should have been out of his hands quick. You see one play where Mekhi Becton pretty much nosedives, and I don't remember who he was blocking. And maybe not even two plays later, you see Dwayne Brown do the other thing on the sack that, by Leonard Floyd, that ultimately ended up taking Aaron Rodgers out of the game. So for those humans of that size, Mekhi Becton and Dwayne Brown, regardless again of what was intended for the play, it makes absolutely zero sense to me that you are taking all technique out of the equation and just falling at the feet of somebody, hoping that you buy a quick 2 seconds. Which we know this offense still needs to gel. There's still a lot that's going on. So right now, a lot of disappointment, a lot of hurt. Some of the good takeaways: the defense has kind of been playing fundamentally well. What I expected is exactly what we're seeing right now. The offense for the Bills is essentially moving through Josh Allen, buying some extra time with his feet. The Jets so far containing him decently well, and Stephon Diggs. And I would say there's been some uncharacteristic plays from Sauce Gardner and a couple BS ones, I feel like, where I've seen kind of like some intermediate route like picks almost set up, and the one that comes to mind is the Stephon Diggs Gabe Davis catch that put them into the red zone. But we still have a chance to come in. Zach Wilson threw another, dumbfounded pick for us, but he hasn't looked completely inept of being able to play. That's the good news. The other huge news is Breece Hall on just two run attempts has went over 100 yards. He saved us when we punted. He saved us when we downed the ball within the 4. Actually, that was the Jordan Whitehead pick from the Josh Allen overthrow. Got us all the way into the red zone. We couldn't convert. Made a huge play to start off the series in which Aaron Rodgers went down, and so he hasn't had to play a ton. I will say the conditioning obviously isn't where we would have seen him last year, because I think he would have finished off that touchdown. And the inability to see him go and get that done actually ended up hurting us in the first half. We could be looking at a 10-10 score right now instead of 13-3. But we're still well within our ability to go out there and get back into this game. But you felt the shift immediately once Aaron Rodgers went down, and I didn't even need the replays to see that it was a foot issue. I know people are debating if it's a high ankle sprain versus an ACL right now. I personally haven't seen anybody necessarily tear an ACL by rolling up their foot, but we've seen crazier things happen. So I'm praying to God is a high, low ankle sprain. Doesn't matter. Something that only keeps him out a minimum or a maximum of a couple weeks, and we get him back, because now we're taking a look at the real possibility of having to turn the early portion and the hardest portion of our schedule over to Zach Wilson early. Now, turning over to the defense, they can definitely keep us into the game. We're seeing pressure get to Josh Allen. Couple sacks get picked out of there. Hopefully, Sauce Gardner can pick up his level of play just a little bit. Not that he's been terrible, but we're going to need some standout performances here to really separate ourselves. Dalvin Cook hasn't necessarily surprised me in a good manner. Solid but unspectacular, and we got to figure out a way to get this passing game going, because right now everything's going to be funneling through a short passing attack. I get the feeling the coaches are going to be coaching scared a bit, because we haven't been focused on Zach Wilson. We've been focused on Aaron Rodgers, and as I kind of heard highlighted as well, you're seeing a lot of issues, right? Timing, the snap count, not the snap count, the pitch count. You're seeing the difference between what they were trying to get acclimated to with Aaron Rodgers versus Zach Wilson, where we had, some false starts that came up. And so I don't know how we'll necessarily claw our ways out of this one. And we might have to lean into the running game quite a bit and pull a page out of like Bill Belichick's playbook, if you will, and skew our offense to 80% running. But I still got hopes. Hopefully we can turn this one out. We've seen Zach Wilson get it done for us before. But yeah, man, just demoralizing is the story of the first half for us. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, though, and I'll catch you again. Peace.